What a wonderful world.
Hey guys, welcome to my first ever YouTube video. My name is Amy and today I just wanted to talk to you a bit about how I found my British Airways Assessment day. So last year I successfully completed my assessment day with British Airways and I got a job basically waiting to start my BA training. So I just wanted to give you a bit of information, a bit of tips and tricks on what to expect and what you can do to sort of help you prepare if you've got an assessment day coming up or you are wanting to start a job with British Airways in the future. So I will start from the start from when I actually applied with British Airways. So I just went on Indeed and British Airways were sort of hiring. All I'd done was type in British Airways at the top. It came up with their full sort of link with full-time cabin crew, mixed fleet. I just applied for that. Do make sure your CV is up to date and it is looking good. Basically, you have to have a good CV, otherwise they're just going to look at your CV and think, nope. After you apply, they will then review your CV and they'll then email you if you are successful an assessment link, which you basically go onto like a BA portal. You just make a login and do this assessment on there, online assessment. You have a certain time period you do it in. I'm not sure how long it is, but it's multiple choice questions pretty much. It just has sort of common knowledge, like trick sort of questions, to be honest. I can't really get into it because I can't actually remember what I did. After you've completed that and you've sent that off, they will then review that, and if you have been successful and you passed your online assessment, they'll then email you obviously saying that you are successful with a link below to choose your assessment day. You then click the link and it will take you to, I think it's your online portal again, and you can just choose what day you prefer, what day is good for you. There's also one at 7 a.m, like a time, and 2 p.m, I think the other one is. So I've been twice for a BA assessment. The first time I went, I wasn't successful purely because I didn't have enough customer service, and I think I let my nerves and anxiety get to me a lot. So if you're like me, do stay calm. Obviously, if you do get to that far of going to your assessment day, do stay calm, don't freak out, don't worry too much. It is really daunting and it freaked me out. Even the second time I went, I was still really nervous. But yeah, I went at 7 a.m, when it's 7 a.m. in the morning, so I just wanted to get it out of the way and done with instead of waiting around all day. The first time I applied and went for an assessment day, there must have been about 20 people to 30 people there the first time. And the second time there was literally 7 of us, which helped me and my nerves, because I found the first time I went there was so many people there that I couldn't focus, and sort of I wanted to get to know and talk to each person individually, but there was just so many people that it was just so nerve-wracking. So yeah, you choose what days you want to go. So once you choose your assessment day, they will send you another email to say what you need to bring, what you need to wear, where to go, parking, etc. Obviously, you do have to wear business like attire. So all I wore was a skirt. I think I wore tights, heels, a shirt, a blazer. Wear your hair up as well, so you just look presentable. Basically, just wear what you would wear if you were cabin crew, just so they can see what and how you look like in their uniform. For BA, obviously, I wore red lipstick because it's good, obviously, just represent BA. So what I did, I actually stayed up in London instead of driving up there, because they did say there was no parking when I first went, but when I got there, a few of the other girls said that they did manage to park in a car park, I think, around the side. So I think you can park, I'm not 100% sure, but do double check and see if you can. But I ended up staying in a hotel just because I thought it was so much less hassle. I then got a taxi from the hotel in the morning, I think about 6:30, and it was like a 10-minute drive, not even that, to Waterside headquarters, which is obviously BA's main headquarters. Just go in the morning. I just went straight to reception and said that you were there for your assessment day. They basically just tell you to take a seat. I can't stress this enough, do arrive 15, 20 minutes or half an hour early for your assessment, because if you're turning up bang on 7 o'clock, it doesn't look like you've got like an on-time schedule. It just looks like you're so unprepared. People turn up late, and honestly, if you're going to be late, just call BA and explain your situation, but try to rebook your assessment, because honestly, if you're going to turn up late, there is no point you come into the assessment, because they won't even acknowledge you. If you can't, do you know what I mean? You can't be late to get on a plane. They're not going to wait for you if you're working and if you're successful. They're not going to wait for you in the future, or if you're going to be late, they just won't tolerate that. So if you are late, or you know you're going to be late, there is literally no point you turning up to the assessment. So yeah, arrive 15 to 20 minutes early. It just makes you look keen, it makes you look on time, it makes you look like you can actually tell the time. It just represents you better. It just makes you look better. And as well, I found it was better, instead of walking in at like 5:02 or 10:02 when everyone else was sat down and they've all spoken together and they all know each other and got to know each other, then you're walking in and sitting down and everyone's staring at you. So again, all your nerves are like skyrocketed because all the attention is on you, then you've got to get to know everybody. Honestly, it's just so much easier if you just turn up to 15 to 20 minutes earlier. It is just so much better. When it comes to 7 o'clock, they'll probably come and get you a bit earlier than 7 o'clock, to be honest. Someone will come over and just explain what is going to happen. They will ask you to line up and get sort of like your passport and all the documents and information that you had in the email that they sent you, to get it all out and ready to go in. As you're going in, you just say there's a assessor. They'll just take your name and tick you off on the register and give you a badge to basically say that you're a visitor and that you're there for the day. They'll also give you a clipboard and then tell you to go and take a seat when you get into the room, and just fill that out. And all it is just your name, your address. If you have any tattoos, and it's sort of a diagram of a person and you've got a circle where on your body you have your tattoos. If you have any medical history, I'm pretty sure that was on there. And just little bits and stuff like that. After you finish that, they'll tell you to take it up to reception, and you sort of give them your passport and they sort out all your information and basically have a pack of what you needed to bring. You need to like take a copy of like it's like a driver's license or your passport, on whatever information they basically told you in the email that you need to bring, and they'll put it all in a file and keep it at reception until the end of the day. After you've done that, you will go into a separate room, so they'll all take you into a room, explain what's going to happen. It's basically like a height and reach test, so they will get you to take your shoes off. So for cabin crew, I'm pretty sure you have to be the minimum height of 5'2" or 5'3". I'm pretty sure it's 5'2" is the minimum. If you are not 5'2", hate to say it, don't even bother applying. They will say that when you apply, that you have to be a requirement height. If you are not that requirement height, you can't do it. Like, you're not tall enough to reach the overhead lockers, and you will be sent home. So just to not waste your time, measure yourself if you are unsure on your height before you go, and make sure you are above 5'2". Do you double check it? I'm pretty sure it is 5'2". It could be 5'3", but I'm pretty sure it's 5'2". But yeah, they'll get you to take your shoes off, and then they'll measure you. So they will measure you without your shoes on, to make sure your requirement height. My second time I went, a girl was under 5'2". I'm pretty sure 5'2", was under that height, and she got sent home. And do you know what I mean? Like, people come all this way and put all this effort in, and you get sent home. It's just not worth it. After they measure you, you're going to take a seat in like a cabin crew seat, and you've got to sit with your back straight, with your feet on the floor. You've got to plug yourself in, I think, just to make sure that you're a comfortable fit and you can do it. I don't really know why they do that. And then you've got to touch an overhead locker just to make sure that you can reach the overhead lockers without tiptoeing. And then you've got to stand against the wall, and there's sort of like a red tag, should I say, on the floor, and you've got to bend down the wall and sort of touch this tag without basically falling over. It's basically to open the door for like an emergency. just to make sure you can do that without like flying out the aircraft. Then after you've done that, you will go and take a seat with like an assessor, and they'll go through the clipboard you filled out at the start, and just see if you have any medical histories, if you have any tattoos. If you do have any tattoos and they are on show, they won't allow it. So if you have a tattoo, say like on your hip and it's covered, and you can obviously cover it, that's fine. If it's on your shoulder and it's covered, fine. So do bear that in mind, that if you do have tattoos that are on show, that it's not the requirement for BA. So yeah, after they've gone through that with you, you'll then go and take a seat. They'll tell you to go take a seat back in reception, just wait for everyone else to finish. Once everyone else has finished, they will basically get everyone together and just take them into like another room. You'll just take a seat and they basically just do a presentation. So for you to get to know BA and the industry, they'll do a bit of BA history. I'm pretty sure they go through a bit of history. They'll go through what your roster would be like. They'll go through like what your holidays, sort of what the holiday schedule will be on when you can book holiday off. And they will say, it's just so you know what you're getting yourself in for, because obviously you might not be able to get every wedding off, you might not be able to get every birthday off, you might not be able to get every christening off, like every big event you might not be able to get off as holiday. Like it's just not, you just can't do that in aviation industry. But it's also to get to know you as well. So they will say if anyone's got any questions, and ask them, and do have some questions ready to ask them. Even if it's what do you like best about aviation industry, or what is the best vacation that you've been on with British Airways, or what's the best memory you can say you've had with BA. Just anything. It doesn't even have to be about a job role. Like I freaked out so much when it was coming up to my assessment, and I was like, I think for 2 weeks I was revising about all the planes and everything. You don't have to know about the planes. Do not worry. That is for more actual training. Like that is further on down the line. You don't have to stress about if you know every single plane. You don't worry. I didn't. I went there not knowing about any plane, so do not worry. After you've done sort of like a brief sort of introduction as to what BA and what BA expect from you and everything else, you'll then get split into 2 groups. So someone will come into the room and call names out of one group, and then obviously the other group, and you'll just go into separate rooms again. And it's basically, as soon as you go in, it will be explained to you anyway. There will be 3 assessors in the room, and this is what really puts you off, and it makes you really nervous, because you're like, why is there 3 assessors in here? They're all staring at me, I'm being judged. Do not worry. Don't worry. Do not let your anxiety, if you have anxiety, don't let anxiety get to you, or your nerves get to you. There's a piece of paper on the table, and it has a scenario on it. So mine, for example, as it was BA's 100th year anniversary, they wanted to say thank you to all their staff and obviously employees in a certain way, but they weren't sure on how to do that. And as a group, I think it was a group of 4, we just had to solve that and come up with an idea on what we can do to say thank you to BA's staff employee. So obviously everyone had their input. It's got nothing to do with what the scenario is in the middle of the table. It's not a no right or wrong answer. It doesn't matter what you come up with. You can come up with anything. It is all to see if you can work well in a group, and you can listen to other people's point of view, and you're not judging other people's point of view, and you're not being horrible or leaving anybody out. You're like getting everyone involved. You're giving your opinion. Just get involved as much as you can. Obviously, if you see someone's just sat there quietly, just be like, how about Janet, what is your opinion? You're just being nice, you're just being genuine. You're making yourself look interested, because you're being assessed 24/7 the whole day. As soon as you walk into that building, you're being assessed. So just make sure you're smiling, you're happy. Obviously not over exaggerating, because that would be a bit weird. But yeah, just be you. After you've done that, you have 10 minutes to solve this scenario, and then after that they'll basically say, okay guys, we'll take you back through into reception and just sit in there and wait there. Then you'll have sort of like a little break where you can go to the toilet. There is complimentary drinks, so there is sort of tea, coffee and water that you can help yourself to throughout the day, which is nice. But when you're sat out in reception, don't just sit there on your phone. Like I wasn't on my phone at all. I was actually scared to look at my phone because it just makes me not look interested. Like I'd look at my phone to look at the time and make sure it's on silent, make sure your phone is on silent. But I'd put it back in my bag and I'd be talking to the people that I'm with, like finding out what they do as a job now or why they want to do cabin crew. Just talking, just normal socialisation. And like there was a guy there that he came from Switzerland, I think it was. He literally flew from Switzerland to come over. I think he wanted to move over here or something. Obviously he had to move over. He wanted to move over here to do British Airways cabin crew. He flew over, stayed in a hotel. He was late turning up. He didn't talk to anybody. He was just sat there quietly. He was on his phone. He didn't look interested. Even if there is someone like that, talk to them, try and get them involved because you are being assessed all day. Not to make your nerves any higher. Don't freak out, honestly, it's nothing to worry about. Just be yourself, be normal. Everyone's lovely. Everyone is honestly lovely. The people you meet are lovely. The assessors are lovely. Managers, there'll probably be a director there. Just be yourself and be lovely. That's what they're looking for. Anyway, after you go sit in reception, someone then will come and call your name, and this is where you do a one-to-one interview with an assessor. So they'll take you into a separate room. You're not with anybody else. Nobody else can see you. It's just you and this assessor in the room. They'll explain everything to you when you go in, but all it is they'll get you to read out a paragraph of a piece of paper, which is basically when you pick up, obviously, the phone when you're on a plane and you're making an announcement, you can talk without stuttering, without mumbling, without keep pausing. Like it has to be sort of fluent. So that's quite good to get yourself familiarised with that, like just reading a paragraph and making sure it's just fluent English. Obviously if you can read, that's a bonus. Yeah, so they'll get you to read that. After that, it's role play. Literally the dreaded part is role play. The first time I went for my assessment day, this is where I messed up because I'm not a drama person. I don't do drama. I hate role play. I think it's awkward. I think it's embarrassing. I can't do it. I hate it. I absolutely hate it, and it makes my anxiety go like this. But the second time, I talked myself to calm down, like do it at my own pace. Don't rush it. Do not rush it. You don't have to rush it in the slightest. You have all the time in the world. Just act like yourself. Literally treat the assessor like they're your customer, like you would any other job role. But basically it's a piece of paper and it'll give you a scenario on basically what's going to happen. So for example, the first time was actually about cabin crew, but the second time was nothing to do with the aviation industry whatsoever. It was about car sales. So I worked in a car garage, and this woman brought her car in to get her brakes fixed. And she came in and she wanted something else done to it, I don't know. But they give you like a graph and the price list and whatever, but they'll give you 2 minutes to read through this paragraph on what basically the scenario is and what it involves. If you have any questions, make sure you ask any questions, even if you're unsure on something or if you don't know a word. Just ask the person that's in there, the assessor, ask the assessor what it is. It's fine, but before they leave the room. So they'll then leave the room and give you like another 2 minutes to sort of familiarise yourself with it. And as soon as they come back in to the room, you're in role play mode. They are your customer and you are the employee sorting that customer out. So do make sure you know everything. And don't worry if you stutter or if you pause. I think the second time I did it, I think I paused for about 3 seconds and didn't say anything because I was just staring at this piece of paper and I was like, what do I do? So don't worry, just do your best. Try not to think of it as you're being assessed, and just listen to what they say when they come back in. So obviously it's a customer, so if they ask you something, just read the diagram and sort of figure it out. Even if it's wrong, it's literally just to see how you react to a customer service, and if it's a complaint especially, they're just seeing how you work yourself around a complaint. It could be anything, it could be car sales, it could be to do with cabin crew, it could be anything, I don't know. So you can't really prepare yourself on that, apart from obviously just making sure you're you and you're just dealing them as a normal customer. After that, you then go and take a seat back in reception. They'll then come back and get you and then split you into 2 groups again. So that was the first half of BA assessment day. So basically the hardest part is over. They'll split you into 2 groups. One group will go in one room, the other group will go in one room, and this is where they tell you if you have been successful for the first half of the assessment day, or if you have not been successful for the first half of the assessment day. The not successful group will obviously, they would have a little, basically like a speech, basically just saying, well done for trying your hardest, but obviously you have been unsuccessful. You can reapply for British Airways cabin crew after 6 months of going to the assessment day, if you wanted to. It's what I did. And then they'll get sent home, and they won't see the other group of people, because obviously it's not really fair. The other group obviously will be like, congratulations, you've been successful in the first half of the cabin crew assessment day. They'll then explain what is going to happen next. All what is going to happen next is, I think you go and sit back down in reception. Then someone will come and get you, and it's basically a one-to-one interview. So obviously I've only done this once, because the first time I went for my assessment, I didn't get through to the second half. Unfortunately, I think it was a role play that chucked me off. I did not get through to the second half. So when I went the second time, it's literally just one assessor, so like a manager, and a cabin crew manager, I think it was, who'd been there for quite a long time. All they're asking you is a bit about your job history. So what jobs have you done in the past, what your customer service skills are like, how you've gone above and beyond. They can ask you anything. How you've gone above and beyond for a customer, how you've dealt with a complaint. Like, it could be anything. And don't make up scenarios in your head, because they will know that you're lying. Just before you go, have a think about your past customer service experience, of what you've done for a customer, how you've gone above and beyond for a customer, how you've dealt with a complaint, etc. And they will ask you trick questions. I think I answered 2 different questions the same, because they were trick questions. They were like so similar to each other. Then they might ask you a bit about BA history. I don't think I got asked that. All they asked me was why I wanted to be cabin crew, and why I chose British Airways instead of any other airline. And I can't really remember what they asked. It was quite a long interview. But then after that, all they'll say is, okay, basically that's it, you're done for the day. We will email you, I don't know, I think it was about a few months after, a month or 2 after. It could be whenever, don't hold me to that, that's just when mine was. They'll email you to say if you are successful with your assessment day, or if you are not successful with your assessment day. So I went for my BA interview assessment day on, I think it was the start of February. And then at the end of March, I got told I was successful. Then I got told that I would get another email to say about when my training day would be. That is my personal view on it, or how it went for me. Obviously it could be different for anybody else, but all I want to say is just make sure that you are the right height, make sure you are looking presentable, make sure you are smiley, make sure you are interacting with people throughout the day, because that's what they are looking for. Ask questions, even if it's got nothing really to do with the aviation industry, or you don't know a lot about BA. Do not stress out, because that's what you will learn later on down the line in training, and this is what you can revise up on. They're not expecting you to know every single thing about BA, they're really not. But just do go in for a bit of questions here and there, because it is good and it does make you look interested. And get to know people. Get to know people. Everyone is so lovely there. It is lovely. It is a good day, to be honest. After you've done and you've come out, even if you wasn't successful, it still gives you that eye-opener. Like, I know so many people, including me, that went to the assessment day the first time and didn't get it, probably because of nerves, mostly. Nerves and anxiety are the two biggest things, mainly for me, that really pushed me back. But as well, the first time I went, I didn't have enough customer service. So just try your hardest. Just be you. Don't lie or anything. Make sure your CV is good and it's up to date. That's the first thing I say. If your CV, if it's old, don't try applying for it. Just redo your CV as best as you can and make it look as presentable as you can, because it is a big airline and the amount of applicants that are applying is crazy. Make sure you go with all the information they tell you. Like, make sure you print out what they tell you to print out. Make sure you take your passport. It's just make sure you do what they say and you'll be fine. But do leave any comments below as to if you want to know anything else, if I've missed anything else out. Comment below and I will try my hardest to reply back to them, even if it's about another airline. So one of my best friends actually works for EasyJet, so if you have any questions, even if it's about EasyJet, I'm more than happy to ask her to let you know onto what their policies or procedures and whatever else are. I also have a friend who was a manager for a very long time who worked for Virgin, so I'm happy to ask her as well if you want to know anything about Virgin. But yeah, leave a comment below if you want to know anything else, and I really hope this has helped you. Please give it a like and a subscribe if you have enjoyed this video. It will really help me and I really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Bye!